Hello, and welcome to PWN Radio. Our guest this week is one of the hottest rising stars on the women's wrestling scene. She has performed all over the world for promotions such as Shine, Shimmer, Pro Wrestling Diana, and PWA Australia. She is a two-time and former IPW NZ Women's Champion. We are delighted to be joined by Evie. How's it going?
Hi, thanks for having me, Martin.
No, thanks for coming on. We appreciate it. 2014's been another breakout year for you. You know, you made your debut for the Joshi Group Diana in Japan. You did another tour in America, appearing for the #1 women's promotions over there. So you must be pretty pleased with how 2014's been for you.
Yeah, 2014's definitely been a very good year for me in that aspect.
So rewinding just for a bit, am I right in saying you weren't a big wrestling fan growing up?
Well, like my brother he's my younger brother. He always used to watch it and, he'd always watch whatever it was, Friday Night SmackDown, whatever he was watching. I just used to get annoyed at him because I didn't really give it the time of the day. And it wasn't until I actually sat down and started watching it with him that I kind of got addicted to all the storylines. And then I saw the athleticism that was, on display in the ring. And I was like, oh, this is actually really cool. Cheesy, but it was really cool. And he was the one that, got me into it and got me actually interested in wrestling. So, I guess I have him to thank.
Cool. Well, we're glad he got you into it anyway. So, we spoke with Bad Luck Fale a couple of times on the show. Obviously, famous New Zealand wrestler.
Yeah.
And he said when he was obviously started as a rugby guy, and he said when he was thinking about wrestling in New Zealand, there was nothing out there for him. So, how did you go about starting in it?
Well, I didn't actually know there was anything in New Zealand either. Like, I didn't really give it a second thought. It wasn't, they were the ones that actually contacted me because I grew up with a very strong sporting background. I did a lot of track and field. That was my sort of main sport that I was doing during high school. And one of my friends actually studied with one of the wrestlers, and then word of mouth, they got me to come along to one of the training. I was a bit miffed by it. I was like, what? Like, they have this in New Zealand? That's really weird. And it wasn't until I actually went along to a couple of the trainings and everyone there was really cool, and I started training with a couple of their trainers at the time there, and I got addicted. And so that was really weird to me to find out that way that New Zealand, let alone Auckland, had anything to offer. And they were the ones that contacted me, and that's what started that whole passion, I guess.
So did you have any preconceived ideas going in? I know when he spoke to him, he said he thought it was going to be easy, and then it was completely different. He thought, oh, I'll get into wrestling and it'll be easy, and then he realised that it wasn't as easy as he thought it was going to be. Did you kind of go in there thinking the same thing, or did you have a different idea of what it was going to be like?
To be honest, I didn't really know what to expect because I kind of got told about it and then just got told to come along to the trainings. I didn't really know what to expect, so I think that was the best way to go into it, I didn't know what was involved or anything like that. So when I actually started training, I didn't think about making it or anything like that, going overseas. I was just taking it week by week at the time and just learning the training that way. It was a lot more challenging than I guess thought it would be, but it was still fun to me at the time just to be wrestling. So
So you kind of hear all these horror stories about when people start out the trainer, they get stretched by the trainers and they've got to do 10 million squat thrusts and that. Was that what it was like for you, or was it a bit more relaxed?
Training was still challenging, but it was definitely more relaxed. We have upped the ante over the last few years just because more of the guys in our promotion have started going overseas and picking up different training methods and different ideas. So training is definitely more advanced and tougher than it was when I first started. I mean, we were the first when I debuted, we were the first ones, to debut first females, me and Brittany, to debut in IPW. So it's a lot tougher these days than it was when I started.
Oh, right, so you were kind of like the trailblazers for the women's scene over there then?
Yeah, we were. So I trained for 6 months, and she and I had our first match. It was an intergender tag, so it was quite, it was easy, guys. And we were kind of the first ones in IPW. So yeah, no, it's cool. Trailblazers, yeah, it's a good.
So what were your memories of like when you were making your debut? It was Impact Pro, weren't it? What were your memories of making your debut? Were you nervous, or were you just like, oh, well, like you said, you're an intergender, so it was like going to be a bit easier for you? All right.
Extremely nervous. I tend to get nervous before a lot of my matches anyway, but these days I'm a lot better just because, with experience and things like that. But no, I definitely remember being very, very, very nervous. I don't remember a lot of the match itself, which is probably a good thing. We don't want to hope there's no footage of it online anywhere. But no, I can vouch for myself. Back then I was very, very, very nervous.
So do you have any sort of like pre-match rituals that you do before you go into a match?
Not really. Like, I tend to just be quite quiet. Sometimes I'll listen to my music and, just train and stretch. Pretty generic. nothing crazy, but yeah, that's pretty much all I do. Just in the zone.
Yeah, getting yourself hyped up for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I used to be the same when I was competing, like, with athletics and things like that, just running it over in your head and just getting focused that way.
Yeah, cool. So in 2013, you headed over to the US for the first time, appearing for like the two top women's promotions over there. You did, Shimmer and Shine, and you faced off against the likes of Kimberly and Mercedes Martinez. So how was your first tour of the States? What you expected it to be, or was it completely different?
I didn't have anything to sort of compare it to since it was my first time to the States. So it was amazing. It was so cool to be able to perform at WrestleCon in New Jersey. That was amazing. I think the crowd for that Shimmer show was around the 800 mark, and that was really, really cool. Meeting all the girls backstage for the first time, like the locker room, they're really, really awesome. Everyone has the same sort of passion and drive for the business, so it's really amazing to, meet them all. And after watching them all on, DVDs and especially versing Mercedes Martinez, that was amazing because I'd watched her, her matches and stuff. I kind of had the similar feeling that I had when I was wrestling like Madison Eagles for the first time because I'd watched these ladies on the DVDs and things like that. So it's really overwhelming to be in the ring as in the same ring as these women that you've kind of looked up to. But it was really awesome. Such a good first trip to go over there.
Cool, because it was the WrestleMania weekend, wasn't it, in New Jersey? Yeah. So it seems to have become like this massive thing, doesn't it? It's not just WrestleMania. You got to get every promotion coming to wherever WrestleMania's on that year, don't they? And they all do little shows in that state. Yeah,
it's such a good thing, for these indie promotions to just make it a really, really big weekend about wrestling, and it's a good opportunity for all of us indie dudes.
So who was it who got you booked over there then?
I wrestled when I went over to Australia for the first time to perform for PWWA, which is Madison Eagles promotion, the all-female one. She kind of put my name forward to Dave Prazak, and I sent my stuff in as well. But they kind of word of mouth, and they just contacted me and said that they'd love to have me over there in the April of 2013. So that was really, really cool.
Cool. So, as noted at the start of the show, you made your debut in Japan earlier this year for Pro Wrestling Diana. So, how was it wrestling in Japan compared to the US and New Zealand and Australia?
Oh, it's very, very different. And, obviously the language barrier is always going to be there. I did pick up a little bit of Japanese, but nothing really. It was very different. The crowds there are very different. Just in the way they react to the wrestling, they treat it more as a competitive sport. So yeah, no, it was a very, very good experience to go over there and train with Deanna. So no, yeah, it was a good 3 months, and it was over there during their winter, and I'm definitely a summer girl, so it was just, it was horrible. It was snowing and, training in that weather. It was so hard. I got a few injuries because I found it hard to warm up in such conditions. It was just ridiculously cold for a bit there, but no, it was an awesome experience, and yeah, I took a lot back from that trip. That's cool.
So like Japan's known for their strong style. Is that how it is in Indiana?
Yeah, Deanna's got a few sort of senpai, like veteran women there that run the promotion. So they're very much set in their their ways and their ideals, but it's very strong style. Yeah.
Yeah. Because, you watch some of these, obviously, Japanese women's wrestling, legendary from, like, the early 90s, all that sort of stuff. And you watch some of the matches and you're like, oh, my God, some of the lariats are pulling up on each other and that.
Yeah, no, it was very, very cool to learn that, that sort of way. And I was very open-minded about the whole thing, so it was really good.
Cool. So it's around 2013 you appeared on the Australian version of 2020 that you appeared on?
The Australian in 2013. When? What?
The documentary series 2020.
Oh yeah, and that's a New Zealand version.
Oh, New Zealand version, right?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know because I watched it and I didn't know if it was the Australian version or not. So obviously you appeared on the TV show 2020 where they followed you on the lead up to your first tour of America. And for people who don't really know what 2020 is, it's like a documentary-style TV show touching on a variety of topics, and it's pretty prime time, isn't it? So how did this come about that you appeared on that show?
Management within IPW actually contacted me and the other girls to get involved. I didn't actually know that it was going to be a story based on my lead-up. I when I started filming, I thought they were focusing on, just on the girls of IPW, which they did. They touched on, all of us. But then I just realized that they were actually focusing on, my lead up to the States, which I found out during filming because they wanted to get, more footage of me with my family and, getting my gear prepped and all that stuff. So that was weird, but that was a very good experience to get that exposure. 2020, yeah, it is on a mainstream TV channel here. So that was really cool. And just getting the company and the other girls that exposure to the, on national television was really, really good for all of us.
Yeah, did you find that after you had a lot of people who weren't sort of interested in your wrestling career coming up to you after and going, oh, I saw you on that TV show last night. Oh, it's pretty cool. Yeah.
It was really weird. I'm just out shopping, buying a dress, and she's like, you look familiar. And I'm like, just things like that. And yeah, it was weird because it still baffles me that people can recognize me from something like that. But no, it was a very, very cool thing to do.
Yeah, it was indeed. Because I was watching it on the lead up to this interview, and it was a really good piece as well. Because sometimes on mainstream sort of media outlets, they kind of look down on wrestling, but they really did a good job of it, didn't they?
Yeah, they definitely did. That was one of my worries going into it, is that the product that would go on television might, warp a few of the things that we said, or maybe depict us in a light that we didn't necessarily want. But no, they were very cool about it. And the lady that was interviewing me, she messaged me after, and she was very much interested about the whole thing. She was like, let me know how you go on your your American trip. So I think they did have a lot of respect for what we did, which is it's rare.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. So it was refreshing.
Cool. So, who have been some of your favourite opponents that you faced off against since you started wrestling?
Oh gosh. Favourite opponents. Oh, can I list Kelly Skater? She and I have had, I think, 3 matches today. But she's super rad. She's one of my close friends in the industry. Madison Eagles. She's just awesome. She's, being in the ring with her, you learn something new every single time that you wrestle her. So she's definitely someone I've looked up to and continue to look up to. And then you've got the girls like that I've wrestled in the States, like Mercedes Martinez, Kimberly, Nicole Matthews, just all these women, and most of the Shimmer locker room and the Shine locker room. Just I would like to say everyone, but I just like wrestling new people as well. Anyone.
Cool. Well, we're based in the UK, and I noticed that you'd recently faced one of our top female wrestlers, Kaylee Ray. How was it facing off against there? And also, do you have any plans to come over and wrestle in the UK in 2015?
Yes. So Kaylee Ray and I, we just meshed so well in the ring. We've been wanting to sort of have a one-on-one match ever since I kind of found out about her, and she kind of mentioned it as well. So, we had a really cool match by the sounds of things. We just meshed really well, and I would love to come over to the UK. That would be awesome. Just a matter of, I guess, getting my stuff out there and, hoping somebody book me.
Well, she's one of the top names over here, so I suppose she could. There you go, Kaylee Ray, put in a good word for you.
But that would definitely be it. That's definitely a goal. So, let's make it happen.
Cool. So, do you still work as a graphic designer?
Yeah, that's my sort of daytime job that I do over here.
So, how do people react in your work thing when you're like, oh yeah, what are you doing this weekend? Oh, I'm going off to America to wrestle on this show, or going off to Japan to do this.
I don't really think anything of it. I tend to not be that vocal about like wrestling. I don't know why. I don't know. They all know that I do it, but they're also interested about it, and I'm just like, going over to the States to wrestle just for a couple of weeks, and they're like, oh man, like, just excited about it. I'm like, it really does interest them, that lifestyle, I guess, but I'm just used to it, so I don't really think anything of it.
So am I right in saying that your granddad played for the world famous All Blacks?
Yes, he was, Patrick Crowley.
Wow, did you ever get to see him play then?
No, I haven't really seen a lot of his matches. He was around the 1945 era, getting that footage is a bit hard, and he passed away in the 80s, so I never met him. But it's really cool just to have that, lineage as part of your bloodline, and that's very, very, very cool.
Yeah, that is, because I'm a massive rugby fan myself, and obviously over there, I imagine being an All Black is one of the most prestigious things you can have in New Zealand.
Yeah, that's pretty much everything you need to know about New Zealand in a nutshell is Lord of the Rings and the All Blacks.
Oh dear.
And being very, very green. So, it's a very cool thing to be related to an All Black, or to be an All Black, I guess.
Because I always thought that doing the haka, which for people who don't know what the haka is, it's kind of like a... I kind of know what the lineage is. Is it kind of it's more of a traditional war cry, isn't it, from the Maori people? Yeah,
it's a Maori war dance. Yeah, you're onto it.
And the rugby team do it as an intimidation tactic before any of the matches, don't they? And it is really intense and intimidating. I always thought it'd be an amazing thing for a wrestler to do that at the start of the match. I can't believe no sort of wrestler has introduced that into their intro or anything like that. I think it'd be a really cool thing if somebody did that. Yeah,
well, the Usos do a variation, and I think there's a few Maori or Pacific Islander guys down here that do that sort of Maori gimmick. But it's a very cool thing to see, especially live. You just get chills.
Yeah, exactly. So what plans have you got for 2015 then? Have you got any bookings you can tell us about, or any other promotions you'll be appearing for?
I don't really, I mean, like, I definitely want to head back over to the States. So, here's hoping that happens. That would be awesome. And, do the old shimmer and shine thing again. In terms of anything else, I'll just be doing, New Zealand and Australia shows. So I'm yet to, well, I don't know. Stay tuned.
Indeed.
But, at this point, I'm just finishing up the year. I'm just still going to train through. I always train through anyway. So, I guess anyone that follows me on social media, that's pretty much the place where I'll, be announcing anything. So, watch this space.
Cool. So you've travelled quite, travelled to Japan, travelled all over Australia, New Zealand and USA. Have you got any interesting sort of like travel road stories you can tell us about?
Oh, now I'm trying to rack my brain. It's one of those on the spot moments.
Exactly, yeah.
Traveling actually. Okay, so I think we were traveling. We were somewhere in Pennsylvania. I'm not quite sure. They call it the Turnpike, whatever the motorway, really fast stretch of road.
Oh yeah.
We had all our luggage strapped onto the roof of our car, and so we were just traveling from one point to another. I think we were going to Shine in Florida, and all of a sudden, like, this car, I'm falling asleep against the window in the back seat, and this lady in the car next to us is frantically trying to get my attention, and I'm like, what? She's pointing at the roof of our car, and I'm like, guys, I think we better pull over. So we pull over, and one of the zips for the big thing, the tarp, had opened, so we just shut that and didn't really think anything of it. And next thing you know, we stop off at the gas station, and I put my Timberland boots in the big tarp, and I can only find one, so I can only imagine that one of them had fallen out and almost hit her windshield. And I only had one shoe, so R.I.P. my one Timberland shoe.
There you go.
Yeah.
So if Timberland, if you're listening, if you want to, send Evie any more shoes, then there you go. She's to replace the missing Timberland shoe that's probably in someone's windscreen.
And traveling anywhere with those girls is just, you're bound to get laughs.
Indeed, I imagine.
Yeah. So that was super awesome. Losing a shoe.
So where can people follow you on Twitter? And you've got a Pro Wrestling Tees account as well?
Yeah, I do. So people can follow me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is the same as my Instagram one. It's just Evie_NZ. That's EVIE. And Pro Wrestling Tees, I think it's /Evie. I think // one of those. Yeah. And I'm on Facebook as well.
Cool.
You can page. Yeah.
So be sure to head over to Pro Wrestling Tees. You've got some awesome Team Mething Kit t-shirts on there, and also a cool Street Fighter t-shirt.
Yeah. Yeah, I love the comic book and the illustration style. Obviously, with my graphic design, I used to study that, so definitely can appreciate that side of things. Yeah, buy my t-shirts.
There you go. Right, thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it.
No worries, Martin. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you, and we look forward to seeing more of you in 2015.
Yay! Team Kick, baby!
Thank you.